your last name can either become an asset or it can become a financial emergency. That decision is being made right now as we speak by how your family handles money. So today I'm going to talk about how to create financial wealth, especially how a family can come together to create financial wealth. So let me get right into it. This is Dr. Kennedy Thomas. I'm here on financial literacy, and we are on a mission of our 1 million people project for financial clarity. It is wonderful to be here with you guys today. So make sure, again, share this live with everybody. Yesterday we were 5,400, and today I think we can actually do 7,000 today. So with that said, let's get right into it, okay? So, financial, family wealth, is the key point we're talking about today. And how do you actually create, is especially financial wealth? Like I said, most families don't lose wealth because they don't work hard. Most families actually work very, very hard. And you see, they lose wealth because nobody taught them exactly how wealth is actually created. So, as I said yesterday, with 5,000 of you guys on, we're going through quantum physics and we're breaking down, especially, how to create wealth, but using quantum. That was yesterday. Today, though, we're moving into a different space altogether because we want to talk specifically about how your last name can be the assets that it deserves to be. So your last name, again, can be an emergency or your last name can be an asset. You are the one that decide exactly which way you want to go. Now, as you can tell, you know, there's a lot of people right now looking for a getting rich quick type of a thing. Everybody just want to be rich overnight. Like, it doesn't matter that can I make money, can I make the money now? The biggest problem people have is there is no long term, that they're not thinking 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like the action I'm taking right now, compounded over a period of time, that it can take me to the highest level I can ever think of. They don't think like that. They're looking at how do I get a quick fix right now? The bills are due. I need to make money right now. So this mentality has truly messed a lot of people up. Let me pause for a moment before our live TikTok go like super super massive today. Let me know exactly where you're joining me from. I want to know. Give me your city where you're joining me from, the country that you're joining me from. I like to recognize and give a shout out, to different people from the different parts of the world. So post for me. Let me know exactly where you're joining from. So your Claude, Pat, Amagnon, and the list goes on. Let me know where you guys are joining me from. Okay, I want to give you guys a shout out for that. Now, while you're posting, I'm going to go back to share this message with you again. And the message goes right back to income, your family, creating a family wealth. You've heard of Vanderbilt, you've heard of Elon Musk, you've heard of, the Rockefeller. The list goes on and on. You've heard of so many people, that have done so well for themselves. The legacy and their family lives on. You've heard of all of these people. And then the question is this: what did this family do that make them special? Why is it that this family makes so much money and they were like unbelievable, they were good to go? What was the difference? Like, pause for a moment and analyze this. The last name, your last name. What makes Vanderbilt a last name? What makes Rockefeller a last name? What made Elon Musk, now the last name? Like, what's special about this family? You see, all of these folks, they never were trading time for money. Everyone I just mentioned right now, all these families, they put in their time. They built something. So they own something. They control something. So when you are at the receiving end of something, you can't be the boss because you are a receiver. But when you are the producing end of something, you could be the boss. So literally, if you're listening to me right now, the question to you is this: are you on the receiving end or are you on the producing end? And this is a very critical question. This question is going to determine exactly what direction your family is going. This is the truth, Colin. It's the truth, Nitia. This is the truth, Tortwezi, because it really determines, are you moving forward? Are you moving backward, Patrick? Like, what direction are you going? All right, listen. By the way, the more the likes, the more they love, the more they everything. I want to encourage you to share the life and invite more friends. I want to be able to cover, precisely what we did yesterday, because yesterday we were 5,400. I believe we could top it today even more. But help me share the message here. That's all I ask of you. Because today we're going to peel all of the layers to get you to understand precisely what makes this thing so great. Why? Just pause and think about that for a moment. Why is it that some names are just equal wealth? Why? So on this popular life, your name can be one of those names, but a decision have to be made. Now, let's break this down. A paycheck can disappear. You know that in one generation. Look at what happened with the Spirit Airline. Literally, a bunch of employees just like that laid off. 17,000 just like that gone. By the way, 14 to 15,000 is right here in Broward County where I am. You are Miami-Dade. So, I mean, all these people just like that, okay, and it's here, Will K. Every one of these people were impacted. So, when you're depending upon a paycheck, it can disappear just like that. No money. A structure can feed generations to come. So the goal is not, let me just go get a job. The goal is, let me build something that is lasting, that I can pass on to my children and to my children's children and far beyond. That is the goal. Now, by the way, this message I'm delivering to you right now, it's not a message that everybody wants to necessarily hear, because I don't know your finances. I don't know where you are. I don't even know the mindset. I don't know if you're excited right now. I don't know if you're borderline depressed with your income. I don't know what's going on. But here's what I have for you, though. Know that there's nothing that is good that comes out of a negative mind. Nothing. The only way you start something is by thinking positive, by thinking about the possibility of what will happen in a good fashion. And that's how you turn the engine around. So if you're with me, I just want you to know you're going to get a dose of elevated thinking, that when you're done with this live TikTok, you're going to go do something beautiful. And then you're going to change your entire aura to level up your income, and take yourself to a new level, because freedom truly comes when you're financially free. So now, let's continue here. You say, why most families stay financially stuck? I for years, it's been like that for a lot of families. Because most families, they only transfer bills. That's the kind of knowledge they transfer to their children. You don't understand. That's so expensive. Look at that bill. So they transfer bill. For some family, guess what they do? They transfer stress. The stress of this issue, they carry the stress to their children. For some, they transfer survival habits. Hey, listen, you need to do this right here. You don't understand. Don't do this, don't do that. That was a video that was going viral. Two girls were talking about how to date athletes, and how to improve their lives. By the way, just for 2 years when they were in college, and then guess what? Then they signed a big contract. Then your life changed forever. Like, they are already planning, from a survival perspective, how to change their life by locking onto somebody rather than having to create a life for themselves. So, but you get the idea here. But that's what they're teaching one another. That's the kind of teaching they're passing on. What is your family teaching? Poor financial behaviors? Thinking about who drives the best cars, who lives in the biggest house. That's not true wealth. No, that is a material possession that comes and goes. The true wealth, it's a legacy that perpetuates far beyond you. Or better still, what is the family teaching? Are they teaching like a dead partners, for example? So what the point about it is this. Families that are very wealthy, families that are very good, those families, they teach differently from families that are poor. So if you're going to create family wealth, it starts with family education or finance. That's where it starts from. And so I'm going to give you some of the things that you need to be doing. I mean, literally, and you could start that today with your family. Make a phone call, call your dad, call your mom, call your brother, call your sister. Listen, I want to share some things. I've been doing a lot of research, you could call it research, whatever you want to call it. Or I've been following this guy, on TikTok, and he made sense. He talked about this, and then start breaking those things down with the family, if you understand what I mean, okay? So Ahmad Ree is great. By the way, if you're not following me, it will be great if you follow me, so you can can be a lot that you can get more information like this, as we keep breaking this stuff down. I'm building a 1 million people financial clarity project, okay? And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be so big because we're already in the thousands. We're only 2.5 weeks in. We've already crossed 4,000. So a lot of people are every day, becoming part of the movement. It's for free. It doesn't cost you anything. But it gives you a deeper access to understanding how money really works. So now, I just gave you some key teaching that what poor people pass on to their family without knowing. And now, let me give you what the rich family pass on to their families. This is going to help a lot. Jay, let's go into it. For the rich family, even if you're not rich right now, maybe you don't even have a dollar to your name. If you start this teaching, your family can and could actually change for good. Number one, start teaching your family about assets. Let me talk about that, okay? Assets. So your family, start having conversation about family owning things, your own properties, your own digital assets. But just start owning your own businesses. Like, start teaching from a receiver perspective to a producer perspective. Start teaching from a user perspective, consumer, and you follow me, to a producer mentality. Again, start thinking about ownership. Ownership typically means control. So the first teaching of wealth to your family begins with what we call asset ownership. An asset could come in multiple facets. Number two, ownership that I mentioned. It's time to start owning something. You say, but you don't need to do this. Don't let people fool you. It's a lie. When they tell you don't own things, it's a lie. Yes, own things. If you don't own things, you can't control things. So whoever owns something sets the rules of the game. So if you want the rules of the game to favor you, you need to start owning something. So number two is to start owning something. Start small. Teach your family, your brothers, your sisters, your children, your parents. Teach everybody to start owning something. Number three, knowledge. This part right here, I think, is heavily underrated. Because for me, if you don't have knowledge of financial literacy, you're shooting in the dark. And so knowledge to me is really everything. And nowadays, you don't even have to be smart, Michelle. Okay? Mikey, Building, Nicey, you don't have to be smart anymore. Today, all you have to do is you need a Wi-Fi, you need an iPhone or cell phone, and you need to log on to ChatGPT, and ask any question. You got Google. You don't have to be smart anymore. All you got to do is just ask questions. Today, you ought to be able to be learning everything about finance, downloading like financial apps, like coaching apps, learning those kind of stuff. Like, take some time to actually personalize your situation. Like having derivative knowledge, like how things work, how stocks work, mutual funds, bonds, and I understand that the future markets, interest rates, like learning stuff that may be foreign to you, it may be boring to you, maybe you could care even less about it, but you need it. Because this kind of knowledge is exactly how you start setting up your family foundation. Because somebody in the family need to be able to control the temperature of that family when it comes to their finance. That could be you, if you know what I mean. So again, you need to be teaching the subject of, financial literacy. Number five, and this is a big one. It's called systems. I've devoted the last 2 months talking about systems profoundly because you say it's not the amount of money you make that matters, although most people think it is. It's a lie. Really, what matters the most is where's your money sitting. That requires system. You need a system for almost everything. It's a system. For example, the whole idea of having an annuity is a system. No? Error, is that you? Okay. The whole idea, I said, Error, is that you? Just a second. Who is it? Oh, it's you. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, hold on a second. The person is not. All right. You could come in. I'm on my live. Yeah. You're here. I know. So the person that if you want, by the way, Stanley.
Yes, sir.
If you want, you can join me here. I know we have a few more minutes to go. You could just grab seat. I'm on my live IG. Just grab seat and listen in. Okay.
All right.
All right. By the way, I do have Really one of our brokers right here. A lot of love and respect for him. He is a Marines,
Yeah.
Marines, right?
Yeah.
Just say hi to the team. They can see you, but just say hi. I'm on my live TikTok right now. So this is Stanley. I'm about to go spend some time with Stanley right now. But I want to be sure that I deliver my message to you guys today concerning financial literacy. So I know you guys can say hi to Stanley. In fact, say hi to Stanley for me. So just say hi, Stanley. Post that right here. So Stanley, I will be with you very shortly, but you can just participate and catch the knowledge here. Okay, this is financial literacy moment we're having. All right. So now we're still talking about the wealthy people, and the poor people. That's what we're talking about right now. Okay, understanding the concept of that. All right, stay with me for a second here. Systems. You need a system. By the way, Connie say hi, Stanley. So you need a system, and the system you need, is a system, for example, like an annuity. What is that? That is going to ensure till the day you die, you have a check coming to you. That's a system. You need a system, for example, like an index universal life or life insurance policies, but not because you want to die. But now you have a system of financing your living because why? You have a platform that is tax free for you. That is a system. You need a system of digital assets because we're moving digitally right now. You need a system that will ensure that no matter what happens, that you do have something that is producing something for you non-stop. It's a system. So here's my point. It's not the amount of money that you make, okay, is the system that you have in place. So having talked about that, right? So wealthy family teaches assets, they teach ownership, they teach knowledge, they teach systems, they teach something we call protection. Let me explain that for a second. What's the whole point accumulating all the wealth in the world, one lawsuit and you're out? It makes no sense. Do you realize, guys, I posted this morning on Instagram on my IG, which is Kehinde10 on my IG. You know what I said? I said just one medical issue, one bad day in the stock market, your entire retirement could be wiped out. Do you know how dangerous that is? Something you work all of your life for, just gone like that? Yeah, you heard me right. So, but if you have no system in place, you can be a victim any moment, anytime. It's no fun. You need systems. So let me recount what people teach their family so that they can start the birth, of a potentially wealthy family years down the line. So they're teaching assets, they're teaching ownership, they're teaching knowledge, they're teaching systems, they're teaching protection. What do poor people teach their own family? They're transferring bills, stress, survival habits, poor financial behaviors, and ultimately, guess what else? Debt patterns. So one side, is elevating, the other side is self-destructing. So now that you're listening to this, you're saying, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to make adjustments with my life, my conversation with my family. Maybe I need to get better. By the way, my question to you is very simple. What are you teaching your family right now? If you are, do you meet with your family once a week and you guys have a financial conversation? Post that for me if it's a yes. Okay? You don't need to impress anybody here. I'm just assuming if you're doing it. I'm curious where you say, okay, I am teaching my family once a week. We gather together maybe on Sunday or whatever day, and we talk about finance literally for a day or two. We just talk about finance. And you do that once a week. Once a month. If not once a week. Do you? I'm not seeing the response on that. Because most people don't do that. You heard me right. Do you know who would do stuff like this? Wealthy family would do. Wealthy family will meet and they will discuss finance. They'll discuss the latest stocks to invest in. They will discuss things to stay away from. They will discuss the paralysis of their finance. You see, this is an area that is a non-negotiable for you if you want your family to do very well. It's a non-negotiable. But let's take it a step further. Many parents leave their children memories, but there's no financial infrastructure at all. That all the thing about, I was in the park with my mother growing up. I was, on dates with my dad, but there is no financial infrastructure. Nothing is built. So if you were to die today, what is your family inheriting from you? Is there any structure? Is there anything at all? You say, as I ask this question, this is not meant to scare you. This is not meant to say, oh my God, I feel like shit. No, this is meant to question what we call the opposition's position, to allow you to think clearly, to say, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that my family is doing better? Like, what's my net contribution to my family, that if I was to exit this planet today, that I left this planet better than I met it? That's the purpose of this, because you see, this movement cannot be stopped. This 1 million financial, clarity people movement cannot be stopped. It cannot be slowed down, because this knowledge is a very deep knowledge, and all of us needs it. But let me take it a step further. As I want to understand that many studies show 70% of wealthy families lose wealth by second generations. I can tell you the story of the Vanderbilt, for example, compared to the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers set up a legacy program, a Waterford method. They set up structures for life insurances. The Rockefeller protected themselves. Till today, the Rockefellers are still one of the richest families in the world. What happened to the Vanderbilt? The Vanderbilt had so much money, it was ridiculous, but there was no great infrastructure. By the time the second generations came, half of the wealth was gone. By the time you got to the third generations, we got nothing left to the Vanderbilt. Why? One has a structure with trust, with life insurance policies, and things were distributed accordingly, even incentivizing behaviors. The other one, oh my God, you want this? Take it. You want that? Take it. There was no structure. Now you guys can see why it's extremely important to truly have a system and a structure in place. But let me take it even a step further. Okay? This statistic is commonly, cited by organizations, including the Williams Group. They talk about it all the time. The National Center for Family Philanthropy talk about it, because everything I'm saying to you guys right now, these are testable, verifiable information. You can go on ChatGPT and pull these things out. Is the fact that is this, that your mindset have to be thinking, what do I need to do to make sure that my family is better? Why? Money without education disappears. Let me say that again. I want you to sink in. Even say it with me. I know you could whisper it. Maybe you're on the job, you're scared. Don't worry. You could just think it then. Money without education disappears. That's correct. This is the reason I can give $100,000 to two people. One person take the $100,000, becomes wealthy, and set his family and generations free forever. The other person take the $100,000, and literally a week later they're gone. Same $100,000, same amount of money. What's the difference? Education and execution. You say, financial literacy is the bridge between earning money and keeping it. This is the gap I'm feeling right now. You know how every one of us have a talent? For some people, your talent is to make the world a better place. Maybe you volunteer, maybe you support people, with HIV/AIDS. Some people cancer cause, and some people it's a gay cause. For some people it's women's rights, minorities' rights, and the list goes on. My gap is financial literacy. That's my gap. Because once you begin to understand how money works, how things actually are together, then things start making sense to you. Because I want to take you to the 5 pillars of family wealth. This is very critical and this is important. The 5 pillars, Chris. By the way, if you're enjoying this, like it, share this live with everybody. Share it, so that more people can, if you know how the process is, share the live so more people can become part of this. Because the whole idea here is this, it's very simple. Get as many people as possible to learn as much as possible from this. Now, the 5 pillars. Number 1, before wealth grows, first wealth must survive before it even grows. Let's talk. The first one is, I want to teach you life insurance. That's number 1. Because you need a foundation. Without a foundation, doesn't matter. Can you build a house without a strong foundation? Yeah, but it will collapse. Okay, what if I have a strong foundation but I don't have a roof? When it rains, what happened? It rained on you. Okay, what if I have a roof and I don't have the building foundation? Does it stand by itself? No. Everything works together in synchronicity. Life insurance is the first foundation. That's it. If you don't have it, no matter how you look at it, whether you support it, you don't support it, it's on you, because it's the number 1 priority. First is protection. Number 2 is emergency funds. Everybody needs that. Car breaks down, roof can leak, Any emergency can occur. Health can deteriorate. You need emergency funds. Number three, proper legal structure. If you're rich, your biggest concern is people suing you to take your money away from you. If you're poor, it's just paying your bills. That's your biggest concern. So in this case, you're going to set up a structure to protect the money you work so hard for. It's called a legal structure. Number four, health protection. Let's say, like I mentioned, anybody's only one medical issue away, from a massive problem. So the idea of health is you and I can't control health, only God can. But you do need to have systems, processes, things in place that if your health deteriorates today, that is money still coming in to take care of you. These are things that people don't even talk about. I watch people sometimes, maybe in the insurance agency system, they really fully don't understand or grasp this stuff because in their mind, they think about just me, 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 but they don't understand how to protect themselves the right way so that while they're busy thinking about me, they're actually missing out on how they can protect themselves. It's a very weird philosophy. But if you can catch everything I'm saying to you right now, you are setting up a family wealth for yourself. This is not on your bank statements. There is no spreadsheet that says, oh, by the way, my family is worth $1 million today. But what you're doing is you're laying the foundation and eventually it will. You don't build a mansion on sand. One death, one illness, one accident can financially destroy an unprotected family. I don't care how much money you have. Just one unprotected event and you're out. This is the reason why the wealthy people don't joke. They don't play around. They insure their income, their ability for money to keep coming. Okay? It doesn't matter. They completely insure that. They insure, their businesses because if something happens, they want the business to keep moving. They insure their assets. So if there's any destruction to the assets, they have a producing unit. They insure their lives in the event that they die. Wealthy people do this all the time. Why do the average person struggle with this? Knowledge. Knowledge. The second pillar is ownership. The rich own things, the poor rent everything. We're for 2:30, right? Okay. The rich own things, poor people rent everything. Could you imagine people rent everything? People even rent their clothes. People rent shoes. People rent furniture. People, what the heck? What's going on? Why? Why do you have to rent that? You should work your ass off to go buy that, but not to rent it. But the mentality is different. Okay? Ownership is exactly where you want to be at. And I give you the examples. Owning a business, owning real estate, owning stocks, owning intellectual property, owning digital brands, owning land trust, and the list goes on. Ownership rules. Simple as that. You see, if your family only consume, that's the family just consuming, but they never own, wealth cannot stay. Wealth is not bestowed upon that family. Wealth has to go. Because wealth is a good friend of someone that knows how to take care of it. That's wealth. You see, for all of my active followers, okay, that who are here with me, I just want to say this to you. Today is a very special day for you because I talk about everything, but I never really spent time talking about how to create family wealth. And you probably say, well, let me create my wealth first because of family. No, let me focus on me first. It's very simple. I've been training and talking about you for so long that at this point, you can execute with your family and the members of the family can all rise together. This is the truth here. Now watch this, okay? Cash flow is the third pillar. You see, most people depend on salary. I get a job, I stay there. But are you ready? Let me tell you how incredible the system that's rigged against you. But you don't know it. But now you know. So I go to school, you get a college education, all the good stuff. You're happy. You get a salary. Then you come out of college and what happened? Oh wow, I got a job, I'm so happy. But your college loan is $200,000. You got a job of $30,000 or $40,000. It's already messed up. But it's just the way it is. So you don't even question it because it's normal. Because the masses are doing it. So the what we call the servant class, and now all of a sudden you just automatically condemn yourself to the servant class. Then guess what you do? Next, you walk your ass off. You told the boss, "I need a raise." They gave you a raise, and what did you do with the raise? You went immediately. You bought a car. So now you are indebted to a car with a car loan and a car payment. That could be for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. All right, now you have a car. You walk, you walk, you walk. It's a rat race. But I need a raise. I need a raise. And then bam, the next thing you're doing right now is I got to get married. Oh wow, really? Okay, no problem. So I always say there is no romance before finance, but let's put that to the side. So I'm going to get married. So then you get married, and then you are not in debt for another 10 years because you got to finance the marriage. You don't have the money for it. So you and your new spouse are now in an apartment. No problem at all. So what are you doing now? Now you're walking your ass on rat race. They give you a raise. My God, I save enough down payment for what? For a house. So now you're locked into a house for 30 years, another big bills. Meanwhile, guess how much source of income you have so far? One. Only one source of income. But yet, you are up to 4 or 5 different lines of bills coming at you, attacking that one source of income. That's not over yet. Now, bam, congratulations, you have your first child. Babies are not free. You got to finance the baby. Bam, you have a second child. That's not free. Before you know it, guess what? Man, they're going to college. Whoa. You haven't even paid off your own college loan. Now you're going to co-sponsor your kids' college loans. Do you guys see the racket here? Do you see how the system works? So by the time you actually wake up to all of this, you're so far deep, you're neck deep in debt, that there is no light of tomorrow because you still have one salary. One salary your entire life. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay? By the way, I want you guys to follow up on everything I'm talking to you guys about. Okay? Feel free to follow up on this because everything I'm sharing with you guys right now, I want you to follow up on all of this stuff. Like I'm sharing this with you. When I post this thing, follow up. Maybe it's a highlight of this I'll show, but follow up. But here's the point. Okay? You're surrounded by bills everywhere. Everywhere is bills. Only one salary. Only one source of income. No wonder when you lose the job, the world comes to a finish like a scratching halt. Because it's only your entire life, your entire existence is built on one salary. You see, rich people don't do that. No. Rich people figure this out very early. They have what we call income streams. So if I have so many bills, guess what I have? I have sources of income coming to me in multiple directions. Do you guys get the idea? The same way the poor person rack up bills streams, rich people rack up income streams. That's why they said the average millionaire have what? 7 streams of income. But why is it that the average person only have one stream of income called a salary? By the way, if this is waking you up, congratulations, you're on the right path. Because everything I'm doing right now is letting you know that the system was rigged against you. That's how the system is set up. The system was never designed for you to be a millionaire. The earlier you know that and get off the matrix, the better it's going to be for you. Otherwise, you'll be in a servant class for the rest of your life. And then you pass it on to your children, which is even worse. You say, rich people, they learn passive income. They learn multiple streams of income. They learn residual income. They learn annuities, dividend producing assets, businesses. Excuse me. My gosh. Just a second. Okay. For whatever reason, I'm talking to you guys about to choke here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody doesn't want me to teach this, I don't know why I'm choking. Anyway, so I'm giving you the cash flow, that rich people have multiple sources of cash flow. And the poor person has only one source, and that one source is called a salary. So now that you guys are understanding all of this stuff, okay, a job is purely a bucket. Family wealth is a pipeline. So if I'm asking you to go do family wealth, I'm asking you, open up that bucket to what? A pipeline. And you have to have an abundance mindset, because what I'm teaching you today cannot be approached with a scarcity mindset. If you ever have a scarcity mindset, none of this works. You might as well just log off, because it doesn't work. This only works if you have abundant mindset. So that means that you're doing things, you're thinking long term, you're not focused on immediate reward here right now. You're saying, how can I learn? You train, and then you prepare your brain and your mind for skill set more than immediate money. You lock onto someone to learn how they became successful rather than immediate gratification. Like, you trade the value of knowledge, and the execution more importantly than cash. You give 2 times before you ask once. Guys, it's a different philosophy. It may not be for everybody. And that's why not everybody can be wealthy. But if you understand this, then it will make sense everything I'm saying to you. So now, pillar number 4 is called financial literacy. No school teaches your children how money actually works. None. The school doesn't teach this. However, guess what you have to learn? You have to learn compound interest. Literally. You have to learn taxes. We got 3 more minutes. I will switch over. You have to learn debt, investing, inflation, insurances, and asset positioning. You have to learn all this stuff. The school is not teaching it. You have to go figure this out on your own. I'm not going to have enough time to go through everything with you guys today, because I was going to break down compound interest, explain some mathematical formulas, give you what we call some legacy trust, like your wills, your trust, succession plans, family missions, long-term investing. By the way, the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to actually become rich. There's a difference between the two. So, with that said, I'm going to bring this to a close. If you enjoyed this, I'm gonna bring this up. I'll post this, on TikTok Live. I want you to go in, make comments on this, literally, and become part of the movement, the 1 million people movement. But let's take this to the next level. I have an appointment right now that I have to switch to at 2:30. I want to make sure I respect time. But it is always nice to see you guys right here. Share this knowledge with everybody around you. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be selfish. Grow together, with your family, with your friends, so that you guys are vibrating at the same frequency. So life is easier for you too, because you don't want to be around someone whose frequency is here, you're here, you are knowing one another. But if everybody's moving along, life is actually easier. So don't be selfish. Share it, comment about it, and then I look forward to catching up with you guys perhaps tomorrow, okay? So work like it's up to you, pray like it's up to God, and thank you for joining me today. Bye, everybody. Bye now.